Okay, today we'll be making connections. What I'm making connection is text to text to self, and text to world. Text to text is it reminds you of a book. Text to self it reminds you of like yourself, like a time, something you can relate to yourself. And the third one is text to world, and it reminds you of something in the world. So today we're going to talk about this book. It's called This Is My House. Does it look? You guys want to look at the houses on here? Do you guys see anything familiar?
Kind of something like that.
So it kind of looks like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about, all the different houses. Okay. This is my house. My grandfather built it. When we put a new roof on the house, it will keep us warm and dry. So do these ones look kind of familiar?
That kind of looks like my house.
Mine too.
Yeah. People make houses out of whatever they can find. There are houses with walls of stone or wood or mud or grass. There are houses with walls of paper, walls of snow, even houses on wheels. That's kind of different.
Yeah.
So right here, it already starts in like a new language. So throughout the book, you'll see that with each different house, it'll have a different language and a different house. You know. Okay. So thousands of years ago, huts could be made of mammoth bones covered with animal hides or branches covered with leaves. Caves are also a place to be safe and warm. My family made our house in a cave. We carved the cave into tall rock and put in windows. We painted the inside walls white. It's different from the caves people lived in a long time ago. This is where I live right now. My family is staying in our car. We'll move into a house when we can. So when you guys think of a car, do you guys think of living in a car?
No, I've never thought about that.
Yeah, so some people have to live in a car until they
Okay,
become bigger.
thanks. You
Oh.
guys are good now.
Okay, sweetie. Good job.
I live in a tent in the desert. Tents are movable houses. We need to move a lot to find water and food for our animals. So have you guys ever lived in a tent before?
I haven't lived in a tent, but I've camped in
Yeah,
Right.
I have camp too.
Right, that's pretty common, and a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Our tent is in the mountains. Our tent in the mountains has a door. A floor and carpets keep us off the cold ground. We can carry our tent, called a yurt, when we move. My whole house is made of plants. Where we live, the plants are all around us. We use dried plants called thatch to cover the roof. Many families can live together in our house. So have you ever thought about having like multiple families live in one big house?
I feel like that would be really
It
cramped.
reminds
Yeah.
me of Full House, though.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's the same family, but different parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good connection. Our house is round as a coconut. Everyone in the family helped build our house. We built it without walls so the air could blow in. The breeze keeps the house cold during the hot days. We use wood from the forest to make strong houses and other buildings. We cut up logs and nail the wood together. We live in a wooden house made of logs. We live in a house on a wooden stilt. Our wooden house has a roof that grows. It's covered with moss and other plants. So that's different.
I went to a camp that had houses like that we lived in.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
there was a pond underneath it, and then I don't remember what it's called, but we stayed in the things above the water.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
I've seen those, but I've never been in one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. It's like the grass is on the house
Yeah,
instead
that's
of on the
weird.
on the ground.
Yeah.
I live in the high mountains where there are few trees. We built our house out of stone. We need to add new thatch to the roof of our stone house each year. The thatch wears away, but the stone doesn't. A stone building can last thousands of years. Our house is made of mud. It's almost finished. We form adobe bricks from the wet mud. Then the bricks are dried in the sunlight. We fill cracks and smooth the walls with more mud. After our day's work, we visit my grandmother. She built her house by herself. Isn't it kind of crazy to think your grandma built your house? I could
My
not
grandma
see-
would not do that.
No, neither. Each of these mud brick buildings is a part of my house. My grandparents, my parents, brothers, and sisters have their own buildings. The buildings are connected by a wall. My grandfather carved the pictures from the stories on the ground, on the walls and doors of our house. In my house, the garden is part of the living room. Everyone in the family lives in the rooms around the garden. Rain falls into the garden, but the rest of the house stays dry. The wall of dried mud that surrounds our house has its own roof, so the walls don't wash away. Our houses connect together to form a pueblo. Many families live together in the pueblo. My best friend lives on top of the ladder. We live in houses that are connected too. My father is a bricklayer. He used baked mud bricks to build rows and rows of houses. The building I live in is made of cement and steel. Families live in groups called apartments on each floor. Workers on bamboo scaffolding 30 floors high are finishing another apartment building. People from apartments below hang laundry on the scaffolding. So, do these ones look familiar?
Yeah, I've seen apartments before.
I've
I've
seen
never
it-
lived in one.
I've never lived in one either, and I've seen them on TV, like Friends.
Yeah.
Friends
Yeah,
live in
I feel like this is probably like one of the most common ones we've seen, and
Yeah, like in the city, if you like
Mhm.
ever visit a city.
like
Yeah.
Chicago.
they can be higher or lower.
Yeah.
So apartments are pretty popular. My houseboat floats through the waves. We move our houses around the city to sell fish we catch. At night, our house rocks us to sleep. Houses can be built into the sky or on water. A house can be big or small, in the country or in the city. Wherever it is, people who live in a house make it their home. So can we talk and see like what your guys' homes are compared to these ones?
Mine was kind of like, I mean, I forget like which page it was on, but mine's like a brick house and like it's in a neighborhood, doesn't have like animals or clay, but it was kind of cool to see where everyone else lives.
I used to live in a log cabin, and then when I got older, we moved to a house that looks like the one made out of wood. So I lived in two of those different.
Two different ones.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
cool.
awesome.
and we didn't have any. We had my dog, but we
Yeah.
didn't have like a farm or anything. But my
Yeah.
grandparents had a farm.
That's neat.
That is cool.
So now, which one did you guys think you guys use most? Text to text, text to self, or text to world?
Text to self.
Text itself, yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a lot of things that you could connect to and all
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And this book really allows a lot of people from different places to connect to it and allows you to see different houses and make different connections.
Yeah.
So did you guys like the book?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
it
it was
was
good.
good.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to be working on a worksheet just about making connections and kind of see what you guys thought about the main idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.